tonight into the morning hours. And then tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a little bit warmer. Highs at the coast. We've got upper 70s with the LA and Orange County metro areas. Valley highs tomorrow, upper 80s to mid-90s. Anywhere from 97 to 104 for the IE tomorrow, and even a little bit hotter Tuesday with some more clouds. Showers over a wider area of the Southland. Could be a thunderstorm or two as well. The inland highs, mostly in the mid-90s to 105 for Tuesday. Looks like it's going to be hot and muggy with the chance off and on of these.
Look at that. The sun's still up, huh?
Right now it's 74. Park 72 in Mission Viejo, 68 in Seal Beach, and 80 in Santa Clarita. We lead local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom. I'm Michael Chaffee.
Yeah! Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits.
But we start with breaking news from Hollywood. People stabbed and shot inside.
Yeah, we are at Melrose Avenue and Ron.
What? Oh, he's got a gun. He has got a gun. Yeah, this is not going to end very well.
That's why I'm voting for Eric Garcetti.
Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits on KFI.
Well, I just got into town about an hour ago is what Jim Morrison's saying right there, not? What do you think he's saying? It is Super Hyper Local Sunday, wrapping up the weekend's news because all the news ends with agreement between the newsmakers and KFI at 8 p.m. so that we can wrap it up. And it was a deadly weekend throughout the Southland. Super Hyper Local Sunday attempts to wrap up everything of significance so that you can just go the heck to bed by 9 p.m. and feel like, you know what, I got it all, the various pursuits, the various officer-involved shootings, the various people being found dead, head down in a donation bin, and, other such stuff as that. And then animals of the shark variety scaring people off. And the box office with some surprises. Some surprises at who won. And then also another surprise in terms of how you stream your entertainment and how much you're paying and what that company's doing. And by the way, to prep people coming up here in the next month, here in August, the Chargers are going to be playing a lot of pregame Sunday shows and, Sunday games, and a lot of those are going to be 5 p.m. games. And so those games are going to go, preseason games tend to go kind of long because it's preseason for the officials as well. So a 5 p.m. game is going to go well past 8 p.m. And then there is the post-game, the call-in, and all that. So Super Hyper Local Sunday is going to be super preempted for a while, but for a good cause, because the San Diego Chargers are now the Los Angeles Chargers right here on KFI, your station of record, and the on-air team, Mad Money Smith from down the hall, from KLAC, from Petros and Money. He is your play-by-play guy. He's going to do great, because why wouldn't he do great? Former music director at K-Rock. It's weird how all the orbits go back to that. But anyway, that's where Money and I know each other from years ago at K-Rock. But he'll be doing the Chargers play-by-play. And then Chris and Carlo is going to be doing special stuff for the Chargers from the KFI newsroom. And a special surprise is going to be on the sidelines of the Chargers. And we'll talk to that special surprise tomorrow at 9. I'm filling in for Bill Handel. And special surprise will be in at 9 o'clock. And we'll talk to special surprise about that part of the Chargers broadcast. It'll be a lot of fun. And so you'll hear a lot of familiar voices on the KFI Chargers broadcast. It's going to be a blast. Plus, obviously, on a Sunday, but if it's a really good game, I'm going to talk about the Chargers. And probably we're going to have Matt Money Smith join us, because I used to do the Seahawks pregame and postgame for a couple of years up in Seattle. And I took the phone calls. We're not going to take phone calls here on KFI. That's for sports talk. But I used to take the phone calls, and it was fun. So meanwhile, here in the Southland, I guess let's start chronologically with Friday. The weekend starts on Friday, and for some people it started early on Friday. If you didn't pay attention to the news on Friday, you may have missed this. A man died on Friday after L.A. Fire Department paramedics pulled him out of a donation box in a South L.A. neighborhood. A neighbor who did not want to be identified, which also, by the way, pretty much identifies what neighborhood this was in, said she tried to help when it happened around 10 a.m. She said, quote, he wasn't moving, so I said, oh, wow, maybe I better call 911. So that's what I did. So by the time paramedics came, they tried to revive and get him out, but it took like 30 minutes to get him out. So they had to go and get these electric saws to get him out, close quote. He was dead. So just to set this up, the individual he was an adult individual riding a bicycle, and he rolled his bicycle up to one of these, it was a tall metal donation box with like a mailbox door that it's a one-way, like an old bank, after-hours deposit thing. So he rolled the bike up to the big red donation box, and it's shirts and shoes, and I don't know what the charity was, but they're all over the place in LA, they're all over the valley and all that. And you come up and you pull the door and you take your old clothes, old baby clothes, old shoes, whatever, put it in there, and then the charity cleans them up and doles them out, sells them, whatever. So the guy pulls his bike up and he opens the door. He opens that one-way door, sticks his body in there above his center of gravity, and he loses control of the bike. The bike falls down, so now he's upside down, and he's in the hot metal box at 10 a.m. on Friday, trying to steal other people's shoes and T-shirts and things like that. That they threw away, and he's in there, and the box has bitten him. He can't get out. He can't go further in, and he can't back out. And so in the miscreant's attempt to steal clothing, he finds a way to put himself in basically a large human bear trap. By the time the fire department got there was nothing they could do. It took him 30 minutes to cut him out. I'm not sure exactly what killed him, though. I don't know if... it's like there's no air in there, or... Well, and... Yeah, and that too. And he's hyperventilating and he's panicking and all that. And there may or may not have been some substance problems involved as well. But anyway, that is the fatality that kicked off, frankly, a fatality thick weekend here in the Southland, and we'll get to it. And an update on that young woman who thought it was a really great idea to live stream her car accident that killed her own sister. All that is coming up in a really terrifying wrong-way crash in Ventura, and some stabbings, some well-dressed thieves. It's all part of Super Hyper Local Sunday because it all happened this weekend. And I would have an update for you on the Doyers, but they are now in extra innings with. Can I wait? Now, hang on. Now, Josh. Is that a depiction of Major League Baseball? Can I give an update on the score, or am I breaking a law? I'm just going to say that they're still playing, so I can't give you a final. When there's a final, can I? Can I not? It's tied in the 10th, one each, in the third game of a 3-game stand with the Los Gigantes. The Giants leading 1-0 for much of the game with Madison Bumgarner's his July return, but the Doyers tying it up, and so we'll give you a score. But if the Doyers sweep the Giants, then we'll give you that. Also, there's another significant thing about. Did you know this, Chappé, that the Giants and Dodgers, the last 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, both teams started lefties. All 3 games. The Giants went back to 1913. And they said, speaking for us, this is the first time we've ever done this. We can't speak for the Doyers. The Giants' records go back to 1913. The Doyers, I think, go back 20 years before, I believe, when they were the I forgot the various permutations. I used to know them, but this could be the first time ever in Major League Baseball that 2 teams have played a 3-game stand and started lefties both sides for all 3 games. I wonder, we're smart people. We're 18% of the presidents. We are overrepresented in Nobel Prizes. Yep, we're overrepresented in medicine. Overrepresented in special forces. Anything where a higher mental category is required, there is an overrepresentation of left-handed people. I don't know why. I do know why. I don't know. You know why? Because we're overly humble. That's why. We'll be back right after this, and we will continue the toll, accidents, pursuits, and fatalities all across the Southland for Super Hyper Local Sunday. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news.
At least 9 people have been hurt after authorities said that a white van plowed into a group of people dining at a restaurant patio on Pico Boulevard. 8 people have been transported to the hospital. One man's critical. This happened at about 3:45 this afternoon.
I'm going to turn those lights off. Alrighty. Yeah, it's because I don't hear anything original, and it's all very self-promotional. I'm just kind of over it. Also, he's almost uniquely humorless. Rush is like Hannity. He thinks he's really funny, and he's actually really not. I don't know what happened with that motorcycle guy last night. Oh, did you hear that? No, I did. I did an off-camera burp. Would always help if you would quickly mention the question that you're responding to. I agree. What's your point? I am filling in for Bill Handel tomorrow morning. So I'm actually going to sleep here at the station. It's actually not worth. Was it a girl on the motorcycle? Yeah, it's not even worth going to a hotel. You know, it's an hour and a half drive home. I'm not going to do that. So I often don't know what you're responding about. I thought you guys can see these questions. I thought you guys can see the questions there on the left. Is that only a mobile thing? There's nowhere to tie the hammock. I'm an idiot, and getting information out of context is pretty tough to follow. Well, look, Michael G. No, I thought you guys could read the questions. Ramones bumper. So it was a female on that motorcycle? I did not know that. Weird. Because I thought they're thinking, man, that dude has an awesome ass. What's wrong with me? What do you get from Amazon?
Tools are what empower us to forge a path and maximize our efficiency. Whether
Okay, we're gonna do. I want to be sedated. As soon as this Dodge ad's over. All right, I'm getting the bumper. All right, I am all queued up. And then tomorrow I'm Buck Sexton on America Now from 3 to 6 p.m. live. And it's tape delayed on The Patriot, 11:50 a.m. 9 p.m. on KEIB. Ooh. By the way, how are you a film critic and you haven't seen Dunkirk? Isn't that weird? Sorry, you're not a film critic if you're sitting there telling me all about Girls Trip, but you haven't seen Dunkirk. Huh? Huh? My head is puzzled on that one. Oh. When are you getting a full-time show? On KFI, I'm not really holding my breath for that. Probably not in the cards. You know, I'm already a diversity hire as a wounded veteran, and there's a few other diversity hires around, and you know we're all competing with each other. You mean that beach trawler? Who's shooting at the trawler in Dunkirk? You mean, yeah, they were Germans on the perimeter of the beach. So that trawler was beached, and it was a German. You saw at the beginning there were 3 rounds, right? And the first guy thought, oh, he's just shooting a group, right? But then he kept shooting. Yeah, those were the Germans down the beach to the east, near the Belgian border. Tim, you're probably right. All right, here comes the Ramones. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits in here until the 10 p.m. With all of our local news up until 8 p.m. at least. And a tragic story out of Big Bear. A San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy was identified Sunday as one of 2 people killed when a small aircraft crashed in a remote area of Big Bear. Authorities were dispatched to Apple Valley around 10:30 p.m. Saturday in search of a car belonging to the victim. The identified victim is a 28-year-old San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy, 28-year-old Rebecca Joan Raymond. The person who called authorities said Raymond and a man were flying from Big Bear and were overdue to come back and land. San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies found the car at the airport, contacted the airport division for help to find the 2 people. Authorities began searching the sky between Big Bear and Apple Valley airports. Around 9:30 a.m. this morning, a crew found a single-engine aircraft down in a remote area of Big Bear Mountain. A flight crew member was hoisted down to the wreckage and found Deputy Raymond and the male pilot dead. The man has not been identified. Raymond worked for the Barstow Sheriff Station for San Bernardino County and had been with the department since 2016. The FAA and the NTSB are on it, but obviously for San Bernardino County Sheriff Department, a tragic day and a memorial probably obviously coming up. It's sad. 2 people dead and found earlier this morning. Couple of different pursuits to tie up loose ends. If you were watching in the evening last night, there was a person on a motorcycle ripping around from Sylmar up and down I-5, the 170, and then surface streets in Sylmar and Panorama City and et cetera. We didn't cover it during Dark Secret Place, and we didn't see the resolution. Did you see Michael Chappé? And there was some pretty, ripping Fast and Furious Part 16 motorcycle madness moves going on last night. It was a female motorcycle rider. We're so sexist because we're surprised. Yeah, and I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube Live, and I'm getting admonished by people saying, "Oh, women can ride too." Well, you know what? If I was in charge of the TV on a Sunday night, I would do a half-hour highlight show of all the pursuits from the week up to that. This one last night, and again, we didn't go live with it. I wasn't talking about it because we're on a 1-minute delay, but it was pretty extraordinary. I mean, and she was at one point she was in a big giant Walmart parking lot. Overwhelmingly. Yeah, that's why the state prison system is 93% male. People don't understand that. The reason that Nobel Prizes are overwhelmingly male and prisoners are overwhelmingly male is because the male IQ is spread out over a low curve. There's a lot of idiots and a lot of geniuses. Yeah. But it was a female who was running from the cops. And getting on I-5, getting on other high-speed lanes, and ripping, and then quickly exiting, and using the advantage of a motorcycle, which is acceleration and braking. But the long arm of the law did catch up to this miscreant. Evidently, according to someone that is on Facebook Live with me, and you can go to unsheepyourself.com and get to the Facebook live feed here in the studio, that apparently she ripped down the 170, got onto 101, and somewhere on Cahuenga thought she was going to hide under a bridge and get away from the helicopter light, the floodlight, and that's where Johnny Law got his woman. And we didn't see that on the TV. They hooked her up, as the popo say. They hooked her up. They put her in silver bracelets. No. So it was a like right out of Hollywood motorcycle versus Ford Explorer chase. Yeah, plus a helicopter. But they got her in the end. I don't mean got her in the end. You know what I mean. Yeah, several times. So anywho, so that one less scofflaw, everybody. When we come back, well-dressed robbers and some men have been stabbed. They're still alive, but there's knife gangs all around the place as we wrap up the crime here over the weekend up until 8 p.m. on your show of record, Super Hyper Local Sunday here on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news.
A woman is drowned in a lake in Temecula. The woman was found unconscious and unresponsive earlier today by firefighters. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Southern California Gas Company officials applaud the decision by the LA State Appeals Court judge. The ruling now allows the Aliso Canyon natural gas storage field to...
Did you get that? Did you get that? It was the THAAD test last night was a incoming ICBM test, and you know what they do is they'll take an ICBM simulator or like an actual ICBM, and they'll poop it out the back of a C-17 at 30,000 feet, and then they'll fire off the motor, and they'll start guiding it towards Alaska. And so it actually achieves that ballistic flight path, and it goes, to low orbit, sort of altitude, and then comes back in. It now it comes back into Alaska, and then the THAAD goes. The North Koreans are interested in anything that would make us horrified and sick of war. So that would mean, a large city or whatever. They completely miscalculate how America would react to something like that. Even Los Angeles, if Los Angeles was blown up, we wouldn't surrender to the North Koreans. They would, their target is anything of value and population. Yeah. Well, and also either way, no matter what, for us, there really is there's no upside except the elimination of North Korea. But the elimination of North Korea would come at the expense of basically the elimination of South Korea. No, well, you know what? Maybe. I don't think Bumgarner will ever be a Doyer. All right, another Ramones bumper. How much time?
Jory, this attempted kidnapping happened not too far away from the on-ramp at Fair Oaks Avenue. Unfortunately, there was somebody nearby who was able to intervene. Police say a white Dodge Ram pickup truck pulled over on Maple Street at about 8:15 last night in an attempt to kidnap a victim walking alone.
One of the passengers got out of
Build your home, replace your belongings, and to live and eat elsewhere while repairs are made. Get the strength to rebuild. Contact your home insurance company about earthquake insurance or learn more at earthquakeauthority.com.
If you have old, ratty-looking windows, single-pane windows that let all the air conditioning out all summer long, American Vision Windows is having their biggest sale this summer. Sound package, free extra value.
All right, we're going to do a Blitzkrieg Bop. All right, I am good. And then I'm going to play some audio, so just leave it up. Calyx may be a joke, but not to the lawmakers and kooks who will follow. I know. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday, and a lot of stuff to get to wrap up your weekend before we start the week out tomorrow at 6 a.m. with Handel on the news. Brian Suits filling in for Bill Handel tomorrow and Tuesday. A man was found shot to death outside of a business residents said is a marijuana dispensary in Inglewood Saturday afternoon. Police responded to the 11,000 block of the South Crenshaw around 3:21 p.m. Reports of a gunshot victim. When authorities arrived, they found the victim suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Neighborhood residents said the business lot where the man's body was found is a marijuana dispensary. It was unclear if the shooting was connected to the business. A person was seen running from the site, but did not have information on the suspect or suspects involved in the shooting. And neighbors did not want to talk to media on the record. So there's that. There was a really nightmarish wrong-way crash in Ventura. The Ventura County Coroner's Office has identified 3 people who died after a wrong-way driver slammed into a car on the 101 in Ventura. The driver was identified as Ramon Valencia, a 34-year-old man from Santa Paula. His vehicle slammed into a car driven by 25-year-old Brandon Thompson of Riverside. The passenger in his vehicle was 28-year-old Rachel Klein of Lake Elsinore. Their dog was also killed. The violent wreck happened on the southbound 101 near Seward Avenue around 12:03 a.m. Thursday. So this is right before the weekend started. The CHP patrol officer spotted Mr. Valencia's Toyota Scion getting on the freeway in the wrong direction at a very high rate of speed. According to police, he was going nearly 100 miles an hour. The officer tried to keep pace with the car on the other side of the freeway while calling additional units to help him, but it was too late. The driver, Valencia, and then the victims, Thompson and Klein, were all pronounced dead at the scene. And you can imagine it is the 101 and pretty empty at midnight, and you're heading northbound on the 101. You're heading southbound on the 101, and he got northbound on the southbound lanes, so he's going opposite to traffic. And he's doing 100 miles an hour into a car that probably is doing 70. So the physics of that, in other words, is both people in both vehicles effectively had a 170 or 180 mile an hour collision. And a Toyota Scion, there's just no way that a human being can survive that. So a really, really ugly crash starting out the weekend. The citywide TAC alert, I guess, has been lifted. If you didn't know this, on Saturday, something happened to LAPD dispatch. The city had to go on a citywide tactical alert for 24 hours because of a computer outage at the main dispatch center in downtown LA. The problem began shortly after 11 a.m. Friday. It affected communications between officers on patrol and their stations. There's no reports that any sort of unreported crimes or there weren't riots around LA or anything like that. But officers managed to still get through to one another, but they had to handle calls differently, according to media relations officials. By 7 p.m., the tactical alert was canceled. The problem appeared to be resolved, and we'll ask for more tomorrow about why this went out. LAPD hasn't really felt the need to clear that up very much over the weekend. But if the computer went down, they haven't said that it was a hack or just a glitch or something like that. They have not given us any more background on that. A car accident just a few hours ago in Mid-City, 7 people injured when a vehicle careened into a crowd of people in Mid-City. The incident happened around 3:47 p.m. on the 5000 block of West Pico. 6 of the people injured suffered non-life-threatening injuries. One person was listed in critical, unclear what caused the crash. Meanwhile, in Pasadena, a Good Samaritan thwarted a kidnapping attempt. Here is ABC Channel 7's Melissa McBride with a little more.
Jory, this attempted kidnapping happened not too far away from the on-ramp at Fair Oaks Avenue. Unfortunately, there was somebody nearby who was able to intervene. Police say a white Dodge Ram pickup truck pulled over on Maple Street at about 8:15 last night in an attempt to kidnap a victim walking alone.
One of the passengers got out of the pickup truck and approached her.
This is Lieutenant William Grissafe of the Pasadena Police.
Behind, grabbed her from the hair, pulled her down to the ground, and attempted to drag her to the truck.
The young woman, who police say is at least 18 years old, says the suspect claimed to be armed.
While he was attempting to grab and drag her to the truck, he told her that he had a gun and not to say anything.
But she screamed, and that got the attention of a Good Samaritan who came to help. The suspect let go of her and ran back to the truck and took off heading west on the 210 freeway.
She's back home. She is fine. A little shaken up by the whole situation, but she's fine at this point.
That is, by the way, in case you're wondering, that is pegging out the ominous meter to have a kidnapping attempt right next to a on-ramp. And here's the thing about Pasadena, right? If you go in your mind's eye, you recall that there in Pasadena, the 210 comes in from the east, and then it jogs up north and goes up, to Silmar. Or the 134 splits off, or from the 134, or you can go east and get on the 2. There's a bunch of ways you can go out of Pasadena, and it's anyone's guess which way you went. But to be grabbing the young lady right behind on-ramp is pretty ominous. And is there such a thing as a bad Samaritan? I hope not. But whoever that Good Samaritan is, good for him.
She had some minor scratches to her elbows and knees while being dragged.
The truck is an early 2000s model. It's a white Dodge Ram. Now, police are looking for surveillance video in the area that will perhaps help them identify the passenger, the suspect, and also a license plate on that truck.
Oh, a white Dodge Ram. Well, all right, then everyone just get on that. It's like a white Nissan Altima. Okay. All right, some more miscreants, including the well-dressed bandits. And just to close up, to wrap some bows up on some stories from the last few weeks, we have not heard again from the takeover bank robbers, the 2 women, the potty mouth women, waving and brandishing handguns and reliving movie scenes as they take over bank branches from Granada Hills and the West Valley. We have not heard from them in several weeks. So we'll continue tracking them on the big board, though. We'll be back in just a minute. More Super Hyper Local Sunday, more of your local news, and a sports wrap-up as soon as we have something to wrap up. Right now, there's nothing to wrap up because we have a top of the 11th tied game with the Doyers and Los Gigantes. That and more coming up. Brian Suits in here on YouTube Live. For the rest of the show, go to unsheepyourself.com. You can peek into the studios. I'm doing a live show. That and more. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chapin with the news. Yeah, I think because we are the broadcast partner at KLEC, I think I can say it's a tied game. I can't do play-by-play. That's the deal. Ooh. I was going to bring a inflatable mattress and just sleep here in the studio because actually literally no one is in here until 4 a.m. All right. Bumper. Boy, my battery is down below 20%. No, sometimes I sleep up on the... A friend actually called in. Like, doesn't he know I'm on the air? Oh, good one. How much time? Oh. Oh, they scored him. I saw him get to third. They scored him. Hey, you know that my friend Kennedy at Fox Business, she has a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo because that, you know, the group Rocket from the Crypt, they have this deal that if you got a tattoo of them, you got into their concerts for free. So she got a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo. Beautiful girl, love your dress. Where she is now, I can only guess. 'Cause you're gone, daddy gone. Love is gone, yes, gone, daddy gone. Love is gone, gone, daddy gone. Love is gone, gone, daddy gone. Love is gone away. Such a great song. I bought that cassette in 1982. I played the shit out of it in my fraternity. I believe I have to sign off because I'm losing battery. So you kind of these are the highlights. Nothing better is happening. I'm kidding. So just continue listening on KFI. You're lame.